Welcome to the Psychexp channel. In this video, I am going to be showing you how you can make a Stroop test in under 30 seconds. And then I will show you how you can customize it to make it your own. So, let's get started by firstly logging in to psychexp.com. Once you have logged in, select Add New Project from the menu. Enter your project name and click Submit. You will be returned to the dashboard where you will see the project you just created in the project list. Click on Open, and then on the next screen click Edit Project. When you first create a project in Psychexp, a default block and a default question are inserted. I will show you how to customize these a little later. However, for the time being, let's insert our Stroop test. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and click on Add Experiment. Select Stroop test from the menu and click Submit. If you scroll down the page, you will now see that a fully functional Stroop test has been inserted. So now let's go about customizing the project to make it your own. Scroll up to the very top and let's firstly look at how to customize the default question that was inserted when we created the project. If you would like to change the question type, simply click on the question and select your desired type from the list. You can change your question text by clicking the edit icon. You can also change various settings relating to the question by clicking on the settings icon. If you would like to add more survey questions prior to your experiment being shown, then click on the Add Question button. Now, let's look at the structure of the Stroop test that was inserted under the default question. The Stroop test is housed inside of a single block that is automatically named default block. You can change the name of the block to make it easier to distinguish simply by clicking the edit icon. By clicking the block settings icon, we can customize various aspects of the entire Stroop test. You are able to customize the background color, and the font size of the stimulus. You can also select whether or not to display a results page to the respondents at the end of the experiment. You can preview the style of the results page that the respondents will see by clicking on the results page example link. Inside the Stroop test block, there is firstly a single text-only screen that explains the procedure of the experiment. This initial text screen is fully customizable And you can also add extra text screens by clicking the Add Text Only page button. Next, you will find two sections, one called Colours and the other Stimulus. In the Stroop test, respondents are shown various words or non-word stimulus. The respondent is told to ignore the meaning of the word and to select the button corresponding to the colour of the font that the word or non-word is written in. The colours in the Colours section represent the buttons that will be shown to the respondents, and you can have a maximum of 6 buttons. If you click on the edit icon of one of the colours, you will see two fields. One is for the text on the button, and the other is for the hexadecimal value of the font colour of the text. Click on the Add Colour button if you would like to add more colour buttons to your Stroop test. All the buttons you set here will be shown to the respondent under every stimulus that is shown. In the Stimulus section, you can edit or delete the default stimulus. And you can add more stimulus by clicking the Add Stimulus button. If you scroll further down, you will find the flow of the Stroop test. The flow comprises of flow blocks, subflow blocks, and trial groups. The block and subflow blocks are used to categorize the randomization of the trial groups. By clicking on the flow block or subflow block settings icon, you can turn on or turn off the randomization for that item. You can add as many blocks or subflow blocks as you wish to create your desired experiment. You can also add as many trial groups as you would like to each subflow block. Each trial group determines the combination of stimulus to be shown. Let's take a look at the first trial group. Trial group 1 currently has 3 stimulus, and they are all classed as compatible because the stimulus text and the colour are the same. In trial group 2, there are 4 stimulus, and the first 3 are set to incompatible because the meaning of the text is not the same as the colour that has been set. The fourth stimulus is not a word, so it has been classed as a non-word. Setting the stimulus to compatible, incompatible, and non-word is done manually for each stimulus by clicking on the settings icon. It is important to set each stimulus correctly to ensure that the results of the experiment are calculated correctly. In trial group 3, there is a total of 12 stimulus that consists of a combination of compatible, incompatible, and non-word stimulus. Clicking on the settings icon under the trial group name allows you to change the settings for each individual trial group. The first setting controls whether the stimulus in the trial group will be randomized. The number of loops represents how many times each stimulus will be shown. Setting this to 2 in trial group 3 would mean that each of the 12 stimulus would be shown twice, resulting in 24 stimulus being shown in the trial group. The interstimulus interval is the length of blank screen prior to a stimulus being displayed. And the feedback interval sets the length of time a red cross or green circle is displayed to let the respondent know if they got the answer correct or not. Setting this to 0 will stop any feedback from being displayed. You can customize whether the trial group is a practice or a test by selecting or deselecting the practice checkbox. After all of the trials have been completed, the experiment ends and you can choose to add extra blocks with either more survey questions or other experiments within them. Any combination of survey questions and multiple experiments can be achieved simply by clicking the Add block or Add experiment buttons. Once you are happy with the customization of your project, you can preview it by clicking the Preview button. You can view the preview as often as you want at any time during the building of the project. The screens shown in the preview are exactly the same as the respondents will see when they click on the live survey or experiment. When you are ready to distribute your project to your respondents, click on the QR code link to get the individual QR code or link for this project. Be aware that once you give the QR code or link to a respondent and he or she completes the survey or experiment, you will no longer be able to edit any aspect of the project in the Edit Project screen. It is important that you make sure your project is exactly the way you require it by checking the project preview prior to distributing your project. Before distributing your survey or experiment, you will also need to set various project settings on the Project Settings page. Click on Project Settings in the menu to open the Settings page. The settings are divided into two categories: Basic and Advanced settings. The basic settings can be changed even after respondents have completed the survey or experiment. However, advanced settings can only be changed prior to any respondent's participation. The basic settings allow you to change items such as the registration page logo and the message displayed at the end of the survey. The advanced settings control whether a respondent can do the survey only once or multiple times. You can also select whether the respondent needs to register with an email address prior to starting the survey. If you select a closed access project, only respondents with a pre-registered email address can respond to the survey. You can pre-register the email addresses of your respondents in a closed access project by clicking on the Respondents tab in the menu. Once your project has been distributed and respondents have completed your survey or experiment, you can download the data at any time by clicking the Dataset tab in the menu. Prior to downloading the data, you will need to set the dataset column headings and save the changes. Each column heading must be unique and only alphanumeric characters can be used. If you have a Stroop test in your project, you will be able to download both a summary dataset and a detailed dataset that shows a line-by-line report of each stimulus shown to the respondent. Well, that's all I have for you in this video. I hope you have enjoyed it and found it to be informative. Please check out all of our other tutorial videos on the Psychexp channel to learn about all of the experiments you can insert and customize in your Psychexp projects.